Good morning. All the kitties are out back that are supposed to be out back and doing good. Stripe's gotten more timid about coming past Tux in the morning to come inside for a minute, but Marty was inside. Just checking to see, the morning check to see what the deer ate last night. So, one of our friends talked to us about this Japanese stiltgrass that's over here in the yard. Well, it's actually, there's several spots in the yard where it is. And Don says it's always been here at the house since he moved in. And I pull it from other areas of the yard all the time. But we're thinking about coming out here instead of walking every day and trying to pull it between now and when it seeds out. It's not very hard to pull out, and that, according to reading, it is fairly effective if you pull it out. Well, first off, if you just get rid of the part that's going to seed, it won't reseed, but you also can get it out. My only concern about pulling it is it then going after some of my things the deer going after things I've planted, because they're not blocked by the stiltgrass anymore. But I think this morning we're gonna pull, see where we get. I'm probably gonna start here up near the border, less likely of me getting into trouble with stuff, and I'm gonna have Don over there and up into the woods where it is a little bit. But you know, our neighbor's got it all in his yard, and yeah, there's only so much you can do. Maybe I send Don in here a little bit because there's some poison ivy in with it. It risks me getting into poison ivy, but what are you gonna do? I think there's no poison ivy there. It's unlikely to be poison ivy there, so we can start on it. There's one spot going down the driveway that I have cleared out in prior years, but not this year. That's around one of my camellia bushes that I would really want to clear out. I mean, it's kind of my long-term goal over the next 5 years to plant more pretty things over there on the side of the house. So getting the stiltgrass under control would go along. I mean, I've already started, but I'm, plan to keep on spreading that way with my desirable plants. Yeah, the year JB was up here, since we've had Ruby, but I don't remember what year, the guys were painting the Tesla, the metal cabinets in the garage red and stuff. I was out here all the time pulling stiltgrass out of here, and I have it under control, but I can see where I can't get to that butterfly bush. I've got to get in there and pull out 5 or 6 pieces that have come up, because it'll just cause me problems next year. When I talked about weeding in the morning, it's always been pulling stiltgrass. So like right in here, I just came and cleaned this area up. And this morning, this whole area, when I moved in 13, it didn't have any plants planted over here. None, nada. It was just whatever was growing there and stiltgrass. And that olive osmanthus is one of the first things we planted. Smells so great. And then there's azaleas and the helleborus. These are not in the ground, but could be the flowering quince. And I pulled for every year all the stiltgrass out of here down to where it's not really growing. So I just was in here and pulled up about 30 pieces. Lots of helleborus popping up, which is great, because I'd like for that to kind of fill in and stunt out the stiltgrass. I did about even with the pole across to the azalea. There's a little bit more that way. I didn't touch that this morning. But even up here on the border, where I mow is the stiltgrass, which I guess it's not going to seed there maybe because I keep mowing it. But yeah, this was a disaster of just stiltgrass when I moved in. And over here, the fact that you can see the perennial border, I've been in there several times and pulled out what was growing over here. A couple weeks ago, one morning when I said I pulled weeds, I was back behind there and I pulled all the stiltgrass that it would come up. Thankfully, it comes out pretty easy. I see a couple more pieces now, but You know, the only reason why it's not in here too is because I pull it. It's just with nearly, you know, it's like 1.78 acres or something, nearly 2 acres. That's just a lot to keep up with all the time. So where the plants are and stuff, I do. Now see, it's a little bit over here in the border, but it's a work in progress. You know, you got to come back. If Dot and I pull it out, we'll still need to come back and do maintenance on where we've pulled it. That's just, you know, par for the course. You're not going to get rid of it in 1 year with one pulling. But over the course of several years pulling, you certainly could. And most of the time the roots come out. And if not, at least you've stopped it from seeding. So yeah, unfortunately, that's almost all stiltgrass out there. There's ferns mixed in with it. Don and I went through there a couple of years ago and we pulled out all the scrub and really had pulled out a lot of that grass and cleaned it up, but it just came right back. But like every time I mow, when I come along the border around the yard over here and over here, that first pass or two, I'm stopping and I'm pulling bunches of stiltgrass out. That's the only reason why the canna lilies and stuff down there aren't overtaken by it. So that's why I talk about pulling weeds and how long it takes. I guess my path over here won't look so much like a path if we start pulling, but I don't really care. What I would love to do is, I'd love to have mulch over there, but that's not going to happen. No way to get a truck close enough to dump it. Too much work and too much expense. There's my new geranium. I decided to let it finish flowering and then cut it back. There's not really any of the flowers that were 100% done. I realize it'll flower, maybe this, well, even that's got one. I realize it'll flower faster, quicker if I cut it, but I'm gonna wait a week or two until it's really done, because I'm still enjoying the red that's there right now. And Panther's doing good this morning. Good morning, Gray. Hi, Missy. How you doing, pretty girl? There's your chicken. Hi. Good morning. I had nighttime in to see her yesterday. She got a little spooked. I don't remember exactly what I did that caused her to get spooked, but I had nighttime in. I might have had Big Boy, my midnight in for a few minutes too, but her and nighttime, trying to get them together for a little bit every day. We'll see how far we get today. Consider this the before video. I'm going to start actually here and work down. And I'm going to put Dawn on the side over there and working towards the woods. We're only going to pull out stiltgrass. Anything else? I know there's like some wild rose and there's ferns and there might be some grapevine and some other stuff in here. But this is just stiltgrass day. We sprayed our shoes and ankles and the bottom part of our pants and our hats. And I am wearing gloves even though I hate them. We'll see if I keep them on.
Well, we're gonna do productive exercise, which is what I like better. So I'm gonna start here and pull this Japanese stiltgrass. My intent is to put it into this thing and then put it in on the tarp and then get rid of it. But we're pulling it by hand to start today. We'll see how far we get. Maybe this become part of our exercise program. It's, we won't walk every day, but every couple days we'll exercise out here. Who knows? We'll see.
There's my first thing full.
25 pounds.
Really? Okay.
I think so.
It's coming.
Yeah. You know,
it's coming.
There's so much you can do.
Yep.
It blooms in September.
End of October, end of August into September is when it blooms and seeds out.
So we got to get it down
pretty quick.
Now.
Yes. Well, Don's made a big difference in this area because there is some poison ivy here. I just came in contact with one small, very small sprig and went in the house and scrubbed 3 times with Dawn. Although I don't think I actually touched it, just to be on the safe side. I've been working here. We've almost got the area around the dogwood cleared out. And, you know, we've uncovered my camellia bush up in there and my deciduous azalea here and that camellia. And I'm gonna keep on working that way. Hopefully Don will meet me in the middle and we'll get this entire area around the dogwood done for today. I don't know 100% how long we were out here because my Apple Watch paused, but it paused at 1 hour and 55 minutes. So maybe 2.5 hours. A little longer than we intended, but we got really good stuff done. We put this tomato cage up in these 2 wind chimes. I'm going to come back with some aluminum foil. Hopefully they won't go after the camellias. I have seen them munch on camellias too, though. It's hard. So we did here, which was a separate mowed around area, saving as many ferns as we could. It was really thick right in there. And Don did the right side here and I did the left side. And so I guess we'll start that way next. Don also did over here on the edge. He went up in the woods with the weed eater a little bit and plowed down some that was out there at, you know, my agreement. And I sent him along the bank, the top of the creek where I can't get with the lawnmower, to do a little bit over there too. So big improvement. We'll see what it does when the water comes through. Erosion is a concern, but you know, obviously this is not a one and done, but this is definitely a one and better. Marty and Tux both came over and laid beside us for part of the time while we were working. They've both moved back to the step and the tall chair, their normal spots, but they came and visited and seemed to enjoy having us out there with them for a while. So the next dent will significantly improve the view out the bedroom window. This dent improved the view in the morning with the kitties, which is why I started here. Well, there's my little patch all done. It actually looks pretty nice. It wasn't that bad. We were out here 2.5 hours because we did a lot more. Marianne and we did around the tree and stuff. I would say we're 1/3 done with this part up here by the house. But then across the creek is, you know, twice as much. So I guess you could say we're 10% done with what we got to do. I had Don just weed whack one spot here by the creek, across there where I mow, where I can't because the mower's too heavy for me, even though it's a light mower. At the angle of the slope, it's not safe. Anyway, I can't get that, and he basically went from the red Japanese maple over to the azalea and just weed eated on this side of the bridge. Looks good. This was earlier. I'm just now coming out to look it over because I wanted to show you, and you know, I was still pulling grass when he was down there. Yeah, well, hopefully after our next outing, that clump there will be gone. I need to come and do the bird house and this part here in front of the bricks, which is two, you know, small areas to fix. Probably not tomorrow because shopping day, chiropractor, etc., but maybe Wednesday. You can see on the left there that Don went out and put some aluminum foil on that tomato cage to help keep the deer away. And you get a really good feel from this view of where we cleaned on the left and where we still need to clean on the right for the view out the bedroom window. Well, nighttime is time for us to finish our house. Our Hocus Pocus house. She comes up right away because she wants to see me. Might not hurt if I gave her some food. So I've got 13, 14, and 15 bag steps. Here's 13, 14, and 15 is these 2 bags. And like I said, I'm planning to just stay here and finish it. It's only 3:30 in the afternoon and I probably got time. Don's got on Kyle's race with the Lucid, the Plaid, and the Taycan here. This is part 2. We've got that up in the background. Well, 13 is done. Not only was it this roof over here, but it was also this shrubbery along the front. It looks like bag 14 is going to build another little room that goes onto the back side of the building. The house, the Sanderson house, the Sanderson Witch Museum house. So again, this is the piece that's going to go on the back side of the house. It has a very unique, I think you can see it there, hourglass, simulated looks like it's filled with sand. I've never seen that piece before. It's way cool. Totally loving the detail in this set. So it's going to go on here. The bag 15 is the roof. I think it's good to admit mistakes. This is supposed to be on the other side. I spent like 5 minutes trying to insert the piece onto the back wall and then realized the holes weren't lined up. Luckily, I'm going to be able to fix it in less than 5 minutes and not have to tear too much apart. Well, once the holes were lined up properly, it was easy peasy to get that piece on there. So I'm done. That was the last step. Push the holes in. The top ones were loose and the bottom ones actually snapped. So that helped a little bit with getting it in there. I understand why they did it that way. I have a lot of experience with building robots and pins and such, but yeah. It's way cool. So glad I did this building. It is excellent. Highly recommend. Hocus Pocus. Yeah, let me put the gate in front of it and take some pictures. Well, Johnny should be home any minute, and that print looks fantastic. I think he's going to be super pleased with it, and he can get something else started. I don't know how long it's been going, but not done, but not very long. I checked on it a couple hours ago, and it was working on this part. If I'm reading that correctly, I think it says it took 20 hours and 14 minutes, which is good. I'm sorry, it's very hard to get it to read that. Well, Johnny's home and he's super excited about how both these prints turned out, and he is demonstrating here the weapon being loosely laid on top of the chassis. And wow, just wow. So this is landmine again. And what's the weight class? What's this one called?
It's a par of plastic ants, which are plant ant weights that are printed entirely out of easy-to-find printer plastic.
Okay, so it's an ant like Wally, but it's a plastic ant. It's gotta be all.
And due to the way it moves, which isn't unique in the sport, but is a lot hard to engineer and stuff, it gets a 0.5 pound weight bonus.
Okay. Well, Johnny's excited to see this new design come into life. The other two robots are finessed from the last event. They've got changes, like Wally has the green robot has a brand new weapon. But this is a brand new design, so super exciting, super exciting. Well, we're in the middle of a severe thunderstorm. Lots of small pieces of branch coming down, leaves.
I gotta pick up sticks.
Yeah, Don's griping about picking up sticks. I'm not going outside because, frankly, it's probably not really safe to do so right this minute. But, yeah, wow. You can kind of see this tree over here moving. But I don't have to worry about that one tree. I don't. Tux is in a crate in the bathroom. Stripes in the house, in the kitchen. Marty went underneath the window right there by the kitchen and wouldn't come back out to me. And of course, Morris and Panther, it's just best to let them go where they want to go. But I was worried about the wind blowing the rain up on the platform. Well, hopefully that was the worst of the wind.
So far we've had a branch come down and it knocked her plant down. She didn't like that one little bit. So I'm out here standing it up for her. Hopefully there's nothing else. This is all there is. Oh, I can't teach Johnny anything about making ice cream. He's already a master. He's a mere 19. Yeah, mine's a little hodgepodgey. It's not multi-layered like Johnny's. His was refined.